everyone, and welcome to the Chef's Table series. My name is Carol O'Connor, co-host of this educational cooking show. Today we have Chef Donna Jenks. She is the chef at Distinctive Catering of Midway Restaurant located in Dedham. Today she will teach us how to make chicken florentine alfredo. And later on, Kelsey Roth of craft beer Cellar will choose a beer to pair with this dish. So let's bring Donna and my co-host Chef Joe to learn to make this delicious Italian dish.
Hi, I'm Chef Joe Murphy. I'm a co-founder and co-host of the Chef's Table series. And tonight we have a wonderful chef, and it's a restaurant that has a long history, and they're based in Dedham. And the co-owner here is Donna Jenks, and her husband. She obviously has a great following. Usually I get the eggs thrown at me, but that's okay. Actually, the Midway Cafe started up the road, didn't it? Wasn't it a very well-known diner? Your father-in-law started that?
Yes,
And
yep.
then
In 1947.
Wow. Yeah, and I know people that can go back that far, you know, have said to me they used to love to go there. So that's great. And then Bob opened up the Midway just before Dedham.
In the early 80s. Yeah, right in the early 80s he reopened it.
Right. And the Midway Restaurant, and I always err to say cafe, but it's the Midway Restaurant. Donna, as I said a few minutes ago, you know, in her own right is a trained chef, and she created Distinctive Catering. But it didn't make sense, as if I remember correctly, that Bob was running the restaurant, you were running the kitchen.
We recently just merged,
Which is
just
great.
a little over a year ago.
Good.
So Distinctive Catering is a division of the Dedham Midway Restaurant.
Excellent. Very good. And tonight we are going to do a chicken alfredo with spinach.
Yep, the chicken florentine alfredo is going to be the main course this evening.
Excellent. Excellent. And one thing we always talk about, the show is designed to be instructional. So, you know, there is a term that's used in professional kitchens. It's mise en place, which means everything in its place. And if you start cooking in a professional kitchen and you don't have the ingredients that you're going to be using right there, it can create chaos. So, we're not talking about necessarily scaling everything out, but at least have your ingredients all plated out. So Donna, why don't we switch places and you can talk about the ingredients for your dish.
Okay, so first I'm going to start off with making a soft roux. And the reason why I want to add roux to this dish is so that the cheeses will not break. So sometimes when somebody heats a sauce that has cream and butter and cheeses, it will sometimes break. So that's why I am making a soft roux. So that's what I'm going to do with my butter and my flour and my seasonings. I have salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and some secret ingredients. Also, we have roasted red peppers and fresh spinach. So anything that is has the word Florentine in it, it indicates that it has a preparation with fresh spinach. So just like if you see any dish on a menu and it has the word Florentine in it, you can know that it will be having spinach as an ingredient. So.
Yeah, and if I can just jump in for a second. Donna really just gave you, Chef Donna gave you a great tip, and it has to do with making your roux. And why don't you explain why you do the roux and you don't let the milk or the cream, the half and half, just cook down and thicken on its own because of the separation? And just explain that to our viewing audience.
Correct. Okay, so sometimes when people put half and half or light cream or whatever the dairy product that you're using, some people could use milk, skim milk, it doesn't matter. And if they put the cheese in too fast at too high of a heat without stirring continuously, it will break. So you want to make sure that that doesn't happen, and that's the reason why I'm using the roux.
Right. And another thing, in a professional kitchen, you will never find a salted butter. In cooking, and I suggest this for the home cook or chef as well, use unsalted butter. Okay, you can always season to taste, as you know, generally at the end of a dish in a kitchen, professional kitchen, they will check the seasoning, the levels of salt, the levels of pepper, and you know, they can adjust at that point. But if you do have a salt allergy, then, or an aversion to salt, you're trying to keep your fluid intake, or rather your fluid backup, I guess, you know, use unsalted butters. And another thing I always recommend is, in your cooking, use a kosher or a sea salt, because the crystals are larger, and as a result, by volume, you're going to use less. So if you had a cup of table salt and a cup of kosher or sea salt, you're going to get quite a bit less sodium, because by volume, and I personally believe the flavor profile on a kosher or a sea salt is much better. So
I agree with you, Shane.
yeah, so those are two little tips, and then, you know, on your roux. Now, why don't you tell us about the ratio of flour to butter?
The general rule of thumb is 50-50, so that's what I'm going to stay with, because that's what all the books say.
Right.
So 50-50.
Okay, so you got a hot pan going
Yes.
there? Okay.
So what I'm going to do actually is I am going to heat up my half and half. I'm using half and half this evening. If you are dietary conscious or you want to cut down on your calories, you could definitely use skim milk. It will do the same thing. So less fat, less calories. So I'm just going to heat up my half and half. I'm going to bring it to a simmer. While that's on a simmer, I'm going to start. I wanted to make sure my pan was hot. I'm going to start making a soft roux.
So let me ask you a question. What type of oils will you use if you, for instance, when you're doing your chicken?
I'm using olive oil this evening.
Okay.
You could use
I
You
kinda
can use
jumped
vegetable oil, you can use canola oil, you could use margarine, so whatever you'd like to use. I like to use olive oil when I saute any chicken dish,
Right,
or
yeah.
anything really, like olive
Yeah,
oil.
I generally like to cook with olive oil myself, but just keep in mind, if you want to use an olive oil, that it has a very low smoke temperature versus a canola or a grapeseed oil, and so you have to be a little bit more cautious. But once you get the hang of it, you're not going to get that smoke or the burning of the olive oil. It just takes a little, you know, doing it a few times.
And you can always finish it with butter for flavor, because everything's better with butter.
Right.
So when you're making a roux, when you know it's done is when it rolls off the sides of the pan. So that's just an indication. So normally, you just let the flour cook out approximately 5 minutes or so. So just let you know.
Now, the longer you cook your roux, the darker it's obviously going to get.
And it actually has a nice flavor too.
Right, you're going to develop a somewhat of a nuttier flavor, so it depends on what you want to accomplish when you're using your roux. If you're doing a darker sauce, then, you know, a darker roux would be better, but you'll also get that component of that nuttier flavor, so you can
Which
keep-
is nice. It
Yeah.
has a nice flavor.
Yeah, and the purpose too of cooking the flour with the butter is you're cooking off that flour taste, which is kind of an unusual flavor. But, you know,
thing too, I just want to mention, Joe did mention salt. I don't like to use salt in my seasonings only because the cheese is very salty. So I do not add salt to my sauce.
Yeah.
However, when I cook the chicken, I will use a highly seasoned flour prior to sauteing the chicken. And I would use just a little bit of salt in that dish.
Yeah, and you know, you just brought something to my mind. When you are cooking, kind of think through your recipe. As Chef just said, she doesn't use the salt in this dish. Why? Because it's cheese, and there's salt in cheese. So going back to what I said earlier, at the end, when you're ready to get everything put together and plated, you can always do a quick taste. If it needs a little bit more seasoning, that's the time to add it, okay? So if you do have salt restrictions, sodium, remember, you do have cheese and there's obvious salt in there.
I just want to make sure that the half and half is at a simmer before we add the roux. So this dish that I'm preparation, it's for two. So you and your significant other, or for you and for lunch for tomorrow.
Yeah, this is a great reheat item.
And the reason why I cut the chicken in small pieces is for that reason, for easy eating. You don't need a knife to do it, you just have to heat it up and there we go. So I'm gonna just put this in here. I'm not gonna use all of the roux, so it's kind of hard with this.
If you over thicken, the obvious thing to do is
Add more cream.
That's it. Yeah, and as Chef just did, she didn't use all the roux she made. Again,
I just want to merely thicken it just a little
right,
bit.
you want so that it'll coat the pasta, coat the chicken. You don't want it to be lumpy and gooey, and you just, again, just coating the pasta. And it is a sauce, so, and you can always keep adding the roux. And once you make a roux, you can always, if you have roux left over, put it in an airtight container. You can refrigerate it or freeze it. It's not like you have to throw it away, because you can always use it the next time you want to try to make a roux.
So I'm going to add my cheeses. I'm going to just add it slowly.
Right. And you know, here's another point. As Chef just said, she's adding the cheese slowly. Now, when she started her roux, okay, now she's adding the cheese. That's going to act as a thickener as well. So keep that in mind when but you can always reconstitute by adding a little cream or milk or whatever you want to use.
And another great thickening agent, if you don't want to use a roux, is just an egg yolk. So one egg yolk will thicken this dish nicely.
Now, do you have to temper that yolk before you put it
Room
in?
temperature is a good, thank you, Joe. A room temperature egg yolk is perfect. All right, so we have the consistency that we're looking for in an Alfredo sauce.
All right.
So now what we're gonna do is,
Can we just tilt that up towards
Sure.
that camera so we can show them? Yeah, okay, that's great.
and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my other ingredients. So I have roasted red peppers here. And
Love
fresh
roasted
spinach.
peppers.
And I'm not gonna cook the spinach because the sauce is gonna be hot enough. And
Right.
also, spinach has a lot of water content, so it's also gonna make the sauce just a little bit thinner.
Right. And Chef just gave you a great tip. If you're adding vegetables that do hold a lot of water, as that cooks off, it's going to release. So keep that in mind. And fresh is always best. But if you use a frozen leaf spinach, one thing that I started doing because of that extra water content, I will take, when that thaws out, that spinach, I will take a clean towel, hand towel, and just wring that out to get rid of the excess water. Because it will discolor your dish, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, it's just eye appeal.
I'm just gonna add a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And also adding a little bit of butter to almost the finished product is going to make the sauce very shiny. So it's going to add a nice appeal to your dish.
Right, yeah, Chef just gave you another great tip, and we do talk about that quite a bit. You know, it's always great to just add a little butter, because it does give that eye appeal, and give that sauce a nice sheen. Okay, I'll take that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just put that back here. Yeah, right down here is okay.
Thank you.
And, you know, if you have your mise en place, you can make your pasta a day before, put it in a Ziploc, and, you know, everybody's working, you have two-person workers in the household. You know, these things you can do in advance. I personally would just like to do the sauce the day of, and it's not a big time-consuming thing, but you know, it's something you can pre-make. You can do your chicken, you can get your pasta ready. The only thing on pasta, and I learned this a number of years ago, if you're gonna do a pre-cooked pasta and you wanna do a reheat, that's fine. Do not coat it with an olive oil at the end, because it'll go rancid. So always put a little bit of butter in there and just mix it up, and that'll keep the pasta from sticking together and getting pasty. Okay, Chef.
Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and cook our chicken now.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, a lot of spices are in here. I have oregano, I have basil, thyme, garlic
You can use your
powder.
hand, Chef. Just-
All right, thank you. So
use your
I'm
hand.
gonna go ahead and just mix my flour. And you can never have enough spices. If by chance you want to get creative, you could add, if you like spicier Alfredo sauce, you could add like a fajita type mix, or you could do add like a couple of pinches of cayenne pepper, which is really nice because I like hot stuff. But some people don't, so we're gonna keep it mild, keep it on the mild side tonight.
Yeah, you know, in the professional kitchen, if Chef was doing what I just said, use your hand, they'd be wearing gloves, okay? But when you're cooking for yourself at home, I don't put gloves on.
I don't put gloves on either.
Right. And again, you know, cooking is a creative exercise. So you know what you like, you know the flavors, and if you're not sure, you will learn. And it comes down to experience, trying different things. And as Chef just said, you know, she likes to cook for herself, but then she realizes she has customers that come in, so she tries to keep that in mind as well. But you are the chef at your home. So you do it TT, to taste, the way you think your family and yourself like it.
Very good. So we want to make sure that the oil is hot. So as soon as the chicken hits the pan, it should start searing.
Right,
Or sing it to you.
yeah,
Or sing it to us.
right. Now, do you sing to your husband, Bob, when he's cooking?
Sometimes.
Do you
You
yell?
don't know what I sing. You don't know what I want to sing to him.
Oh, okay, all right. Now, you're being recorded, so be careful.
All righty, excellent. I'll keep it sweet.
Yes.
So another thing that I would like to add, if you are making this chicken Florentine Alfredo dish, if you add fresh seasoned vegetables to it, you can call it primavera. If you want to add some prosciutto, you could, and some peas, you could call it carbonara. So this is a basic dish that you just add in different ingredients. You could call it a different name. So this is another reason why I like this dish, is because it's very creative. You can make like 5 different dishes out of your basic Alfredo.
So when you're cooking for your husband, who's also a chef at home, you give him the Florentine, and then the next night you throw a handful of peas in and say, oh honey, I've got a new dish for you tonight. Is that how you do it? Okay.
Yes, yep, exactly, you said it.
Well, you must sing a lot then, because I'll be hitting you with it.
So another thing I want to add too, so the reason why you can use like a 6-ounce boneless breast of chicken, and you don't have to slice it up, you can use it whole. It's all in the presentation of the finished product that you want to design, so, and you could add a different garnish, so to make the plate look, elegantly presented. You could add like edible orchids, or you could add a lot of the microgreens, or really a nice garnish for your plate, so.
Another thing, because this chicken is dredged in flour, when you add this to your cream sauce, there's going to be a little bit more thickening effect as well. So we'll keep that in mind. But again, generally you can recover from any mistake in cooking except for maybe garlic. If you burn the garlic, throw it out, wipe the pan out, and start again.
As far as steps go, 6 in one, half a dozen other. If you wanted to put your roasted red peppers and spinach in this, you could, and then just add your alfredo sauce when you add your pasta. So you don't have to add it to this to the sauce. I like to add it to the sauce because it adds a nice flavor.
Right. Yeah, and Chef just actually gave you a tip, and let's talk about that. She likes to add the chicken to the sauce because it gives it a nice flavor. And that leads me to talk about cooking has a lot to do with building flavors. It's like building a wall, block on top of block. And you're building these great flavor profiles. And one thing Chef is doing now, she's cooking the chicken, but she's also browning it, which creates caramelization. And there is another layer of flavor. So all these components, if you go to a great restaurant like the Midway Restaurant, excuse me, I'll get it right.
It's okay.
The Midway Restaurant, okay, it's all these flavors. And you have that great dish and you say, gee, why can't I cook like that? Well, it's about practice, but building flavors.
And another thing too, I just wanted to add is we don't have to do this with flour. As I said in the beginning of the series, if you want to cut down on your calories, don't add flour and don't add roux. You'll save about 500,000 calories.
Yeah. A lot of times we'll have chefs on the show and they'll be using a heavy cream, a lot of butter. And what I suggest is this. It's not like you're eating these rich foods every night. Don't be afraid to try it. And if you're concerned that maybe it's a little too rich, give me a call and Donna, we'll come over and help you eat it, right? Everybody's laughing. I'm serious.
Yep. So I think that's pretty much what we want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the sauce to the chicken.
I got to tell you, these aromas are just incredible. And I'm trying to get somebody to invent the old smell-o-vision so that our own viewers can enjoy this.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the pasta. It's cooked al dente.
So if you're going to pre-cook your pasta, keep it on the al dente side, because when you do this reheat, obviously it's going to continue cooking. So, I like some texture myself with the pasta. Growing up in an Irish-American house years and years ago, my mother's idea of a tomato sauce was Campbell's tomato soup. So, who knew? But our culture has had so much diversity that, our tastes have really grown, and we enjoy many types of foods today in this country.
All right, so we are all set to go.
Excellent.
This is our chicken Florentine Alfredo.
Wow. Seriously, the aroma is fantastic. And I hope the audience isn't moving towards us here at this point to grab this plate, but this is, it's a fabulous meal, and it's a great reheat, and I was kidding about you taking advantage of poor Bob, giving him peas one night added, and then maybe some other fresh vegetables the third night, but this is a delicious meal.
And I would just like to reach out to my celiac and gluten-free friends. So there is gluten-free pasta out there that you can purchase, and also you can make this exact dish with gluten-free pasta, no flour at all. You can keep all the other ingredients remain the same. Alrighty, thank you so much.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Carol and I have been to the restaurant a few times in the last month, and I've enjoyed every meal.
Thank you, Jim.
I was telling Bob one time, I had the pot roast, and I just absolutely loved it. I mean, it was great portions, and...
That's an original recipe from the grandfather.
Oh, really?
Yep, the same exact recipe that he did, we still do today.
Wow, it's great. Well, we want to thank you, and just in closing, I'd like to ask this question of our audience here tonight. Are there any veterans here? Anybody served in the military or have family that served in the military by any chance? Any hands? Well, we want to thank you for your service, and and for your family service, because, you know, a lot of these vets are going through very difficult times, and we know from watching TV over the years, when the Vietnam vets came back, they were never valued for their service. So, you know, it's part of our mission to support homeless veterans. So, again, we thank you. And I didn't say this, which I normally do at the opening of the show. This show is helping us get the word out about the Chef's Table Foundation's ultimate mission. As much as we love cooking and producing this show, we want to send homeless in transition veterans, and also homeless young adults in transition to a culinary school. So that's what our objective is. And I want to take a moment also. The food industry people are the most giving people, and they're always there. Believe me, these people come in, it's very hard work. Most people have no idea how hard it is in a commercial kitchen. But, you know, they donate the food and they donate their time, and sometimes we get secrets out of them of their special recipes. But, you know, the point is the restaurant people are great people and they're very giving. So we want to thank you and Bob. And, so this has been the Midway Restaurant and Distinctive Catering presentation. And again, thank you, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's beer pairing. My name is Carol O'Connor. I am here with Kelsey Roth. He is the brand manager of Craft Beer Cellar and a certified Cicerone. So Kelsey, what beer did you choose today to be paired with Donna Jenks? She's a chef at Distinctive Catering, which is a division of Dedham Midway Restaurant. She made a chicken florentine alfredo, which we all know because we're foodies, that florentine means spinach. So what'd you make? Choose, sorry.
Yeah, so I chose, this is Firestone Walker's Pivo Pils, and Firestone Walker is a brewery out of California, and when I'm thinking about like a chicken florentine with an alfredo sauce, that alfredo sauce, is going to be rich, creamy, and kind of cheesy, and the way you want alfredo sauce to be. So it's going to be kind of a little bit heavy of a dish. Correct. With a little bit of an herbal flavor from the spinach, a little bit vegetal, and then that chicken is going to tie that dish all together. And so I want a beer that is not going to be super powerful, but is also going to have enough flavor and carbonation to kind of cut through the thickness and richness of the Alfredo sauce. So this is a Pilsner. It's what they call a Bohemian style Pilsner because it's fashioned after the Pilsners that come from the Czech Republic.
Okay.
And those Pilsners have a little bit more hop character to them.
I was going to ask you what that Pilsner means, like what's special about it.
And well, Pilsner also comes from the town of Pilsen. So
What's Pilsen?
Pilsen's in the Czech Republic. That's where the beer was invented.
He said
so
that.
back in the 1800s. I was going to say the exact date, but I'd probably get it wrong. So this beer is styled after that, and then they put a little American twist on it where they use American hops instead of Czech hops. So it's got a little bit of citrusy character to it, a little bit more of like a zest kind of, and which I think
zest would be perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be perfect with that Alfredo sauce and the chicken and the spinach, and just kind of tie the whole dish together, and also leave it open for you to cleanse your palate and get you ready in for another bite too.
Excellent. Now, would you suggest any other types of dishes to go with it?
Well, Pilsners are very versatile.
They are, okay.
A Pilsner, one of the reasons why it's the #1 style in the world is that it goes with a lot of different dishes.
Okay.
But
good to know.
It particularly goes really well with seafood, lighter dishes, and things that have a little bit more like delicate flavors to them. But because it's got a high carbonation as well, it does really well with a little bit richer dishes.
Like this one.
Yeah, like this one, where it just kind of like a champagne, where you have a higher carbonation. It kind of helps cut through richer dishes. The champagne and chocolate, for example.
They pair very well.
Yes, this works very similarly, where that same kind of level of carbonation just kind of cuts through and cleanses the palate again.
Oh, Kelsey, this sounds great. I'm sure a lot of people will be looking for this type of beer for that, because like you said, it'll go with any type of Alfredo sauce.
and it really goes with if you're looking for one of those catch-all beers that can go with strawberries, goes well with fruit salad, it goes well with pizza. It's a great, very versatile
Emily,
dish.
great ideas how you can pair this wine with. So beer with. Sorry, I guess wine's on my head.
That's okay. Well, it is from wine country, and a little interesting fact too about this beer is so Firestone and Walker are the two gentlemen who started the brewery, and they actually come from a long history of wine makers. So
I'm glad I made that mistake.
Yeah.
Love learning new things. Excellent. So everyone, this has been the craft beer pairing for Donna Jenks' Chicken Florentine Alfredo dish, and I'm Carol O'Connor, co-host of the Chef's Table series.
And Kelsey Roth with Craft Beer Cellar, a proud supporter of the Chef's Table Foundation.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the interview segment of the Chef's Table series. My name is Carol O'Connor. I am here with owners, husband and wife, Hector and Miriam Morales, and they own Recreo Coffee and Roastery. So I want to thank you two so much for coming to, come on part of our show. And I love the decor of your place.
Thank you.
It's so nice and warm.
Thank you for having us.
And it's such a welcome to have you in West Roxbury. And I grew up here, so I'm happy.
Well, we feel very happy to be here.
Good, excellent. So tell us about, I love coffee, everyone loves coffee, but tell us how you source your beans.
Okay. Well, our coffee here at Recreo, it's single sourced. It's sourced from my family's farm in Jinotega, Nicaragua. The farm has been owned by my family for almost 50 years. And it's 364 acres, the whole farm, but 190 are the plantation itself. We have another part of our farm that's a reservation that we take care of. Our farm is Arabica bean in the majority of our plants. And we bring the coffee straight from the farm into the United States ourselves. We import it ourselves, so we don't use the middlemen.
Yes.
And what we serve here at the cafe is only our coffee. So it's single source and single state, not only from one country, but one farm. And what's special to me is that my family grows it with a lot of love. And obviously through the years, they've been able to learn how to conserve a lot. We're sustainable, where we recycle a lot of what happens in the coffee process of the growing. We are 300 acres, but 1,200 meters high. And so that's a lot of a specialty quality for coffee. And
it's a beautiful place. The
I'm
first
sure.
time, oh yes, the first time I went there, I fell in love with the whole plantation. It's about 4 hours from Managua, which is the main capital. The temperature is usually between 60 and 78 degrees, which is ideal for coffee.
Okay.
And the farm, the farm it's in the coffee belt in Nicaragua. There are many other farms around, so it is perfect for growing all the beans. And there are several things that are very interested about the farm. It's shade grown also, so usually for the perfect maturity of the coffee beans, they should get between 30 and 40% of the sunlight. That's why we grow also some other fruit trees like bananas and grapefruit, guava.
Too bad you couldn't bring those here.
Yes,
Eat them.
exactly.
Drink coffee.
Just to protect the coffee plant from direct sunlight. And we also only pick the red cherries. The fruit of the coffee plant, it's called a cherry, and we only do hand picking to get only the ones that are perfectly matured at the proper time. So that's very particular and very good about the farm.
That's interesting. Now I want to go back to sourcing. So you said single source. Are there other places that do like two source or multi-source?
yeah, well, the majority of coffee businesses have sourced coffee from an importer
Okay.
who buys from different countries and even different farms. And so you might have like a Costa Rican coffee, but it might be different farms in that coffee.
Oh, I understand.
So our
Yes.
single source, when you come and you taste our coffee, it's something that's unique from the farm. So it's like our nuances of our coffee is chocolatey, almondy, nutty flavors. But what gives that flavor is how it's grown,
Right.
the soil, the plants around that gives it that shade. So you're tasting something special
Right.
because it comes from one country.
Exactly. And I just learned something. That's interesting.
And I think the other aspect is, that my family, before we started importing the coffee and bringing it and roasting here, my parents used to sell to an exporter. So the coffee would go, they didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
But now even for my father, who's been working really hard for 50 years, and for him to know that his coffee that he's growing in his farm, it now gets to somebody in a cup of coffee directly. So for him, it's a dream come true. So that's really special to my heart
Right.
because I'm able to now not only bring a very good coffee to Restaurant Berry, but bring something that is a proud product of my parents.
Exactly. Straight here. Like that's
Exactly.
remarkable. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's family in our community. And I love coming here. I love to taste the coffee.
you.
I'm not adventurous yet, but I think after we speak more about roasting, maybe I'll jump to the medium and bold roast that you said a lot of people like. So that's what I'm looking forward to, definitely. So I want to thank both of you for being on our first segment today. And everyone, this is our coffee segment. I'm here with Miriam and Hector Morales. They own Recreo in West Roxbury. And we'll see you next time for our coffee tip.
Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to the interview segment of the Chef's Table series. My name is Carol O'Connor, co-host, and today I am in Dedham at the Midway Restaurant, and with me are owners Bob and Donna Jenks. So I want to thank you two for being on the interview segment with me. So I have a couple of questions for you that I'm sure a lot of people are dying to know. So Bob, you get to answer first. Tell me about your culinary background and how you got into the restaurant industry.
It's been in the family since 1947.
Oh, wow.
I started in high school, 4 years of culinary, and then I got right into the restaurant business. My grandfather started in 47, and my father took over in the late 60s, and we're in third generation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And has it always been in this location? Because I think you told me prior that it was in a different part of Dedham?
We were at 890 Providence Highway, where Chili's is now, or I'm sorry, it's Applebee's.
Oh, yeah,
And sold it in 78.
yeah.
And we came down here, and we've been here since 1983.
Oh, wow. Awesome. So, Donna, tell me about your culinary background.
So I graduated from a trade school, Blue Hills Regional, and then I furthered my education at Johnson & Wales, going through a 2-year culinary program and receiving my associates in culinary. And then from there, I went through a couple of the nicer hotels in Boston for a few years, and then I just hit every single sorts of food service industry, from fine dining to hotels to nursing homes to camps to private restaurants. And here today I landed with my husband running the restaurant and the catering business.
Yeah. What do you think made you passionate to go into the restaurant? It means a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I mean, I was, do you remember Mug and Muffin in Dedham?
Yes.
So I used to work there in high school as a waitress, and then, I cleaned dishes, I was a hostess, I was a cocktail waitress in Boston.
Now you're dating yourself, you know that, right?
Yes, I am. That's okay. We all know how old I am. But I love the restaurant industry, but I don't work in it. I love going to the restaurants and eating the food, but what keeps you going?
Just it's ever changing.
True.
It's ever changing. The culinary techniques are always changing, intertwining, and it's always a challenge to come up with a new dish.
Exactly.
So that's why we like a challenge.
Yeah, it is challenging, definitely. Now, you challenged yourself more, and you started Distinctive Catering. When did you
Correct.
start that?
In 1986, I started Distinctive Catering, starting and doing small house parties. And then when I had that nailed, I just grew and grew and got some really good staff to help me. And I just love it because there's no party is ever the same.
Exactly.
Every party is different. And the thing that I like is that I could do anything from like a backyard barbecue to a very formal, fine dining, elegant Board of Governors dinner.
Right.
And so that's the fine line, to be able to shift from that, going from casual to an elegant dining gourmet style.
Yeah, and
Everything in between.
Right.
Clam bakes, barbecues.
And it's fun.
It
and you
is
get to use
fun.
your
I love it.
creativity and your experience in the culinary arts to make something pop for people.
Yes.
So let's talk about the restaurant. So 1947.
47.
And you know what? You should be proud of yourself, your whole family, to keep the restaurant going as strong as it does. Joe and I was telling you, my sister loves it here. Every time we come, it could be at 4 o'clock, it could be at 10 o'clock at night, packed. What accounts for that?
Good value.
And you.
Home cooking, yeah. I'm a good value too.
Yes,
yeah.
you are.
Yeah. Everything is made from scratch.
Yeah.
Nothing from can. Today, very few people do what I do. I cut all my hand cut all my meats every week. Fish comes in daily, fresh. I was just downstairs cleaning bluefish for tomorrow night's special. So everything comes in fresh, no frozen. So people know the difference,
Right. And you offer a lot of like comfort food, that people like, just basic food.
Yep, meatloaf to lamb chops to swordfish to lobsters. We kind of give a wide variety.
Exactly. And Joe's favorite was the roast.
Pot roast.
Yes, the
Pot
pot
roast.
roast. He loved it.
That's my grandfather's recipe.
Oh, really? He wanted more.
Yeah.
He's probably looking at you saying, I want the recipe.
Maybe
Joe's always
later,
trying to
Joe.
steal recipes from chefs all the time. Now, do you also add, you were saying prior that the challenge is creating new menu items. Have you added new items? And if you have, are they as popular as the swordfish and the Joe's pot roast?
Yeah, we've added a lot of new dishes. We have like a spinach alfredo.
Oh yeah,
That just
Yeah,
that's
Donna
a new
made.
that's
Yeah.
a new one. Yeah. Lamb chops we do with a glaze, rosemary glaze. That's pretty popular.
I'm sure it is.
And the ahi tuna is a
Ahi.
great
Oh, that's
summer.
what I had when I came here. I love ahi tuna. It was so fresh and delicious.
And the roasted wings, it's a healthier version.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we have the roasted wings with the sweet chili sauce
Oh,
that
nice
people love.
Spice to it. That's
So,
good.
yeah.
Now, before I let you go, you also have, like, besides eating here, you offer other special events, such as what?
Well, we have trivia nights. We have two styles of trivia.
Yeah.
So we have the stump trivia, and then we have music bingo on
Oh, that's
Thursday
fun.
nights.
Yep.
And then Friday and Saturday nights we have live entertainment, and we have all ranges from Frank Sinatra era to Tony Bennett to things that are more modern.
Yeah.
And a little bit of countryish. So we have something for everyone
Yeah.
here, and I think that's what makes the Midway a very special place.
Exactly, because you not only offer good food, and you too being here, because I'm sure like a lot of people come for you too, and I noticed that with a lot of local restaurants. They're like, yeah, we come for the food and we come for the entertainment, but it always comes back to the people who own it, because you two are always out amongst
And we
your
have great
customers.
staff too.
True,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're very lucky that way, where we have a lot of long-term
Yeah.
staff is like our extended family,
Exactly.
and like our customers too. They're
Right.
like we treat them like our extended families.
Yeah, and we saw that when you were cooking with Joe, everyone came for you, and for
thanks.
the Midway Restaurant, and for you too. We missed you that
Yeah,
night.
we have a
And
lot
for
of
the great
awesome,
foundation.
Yes.
lot of awesome customers.
do.
Very loyal.
Yeah,
You know.
and that's why. And the food's great here, and the people, and it's just comfortable. It's a comfortable atmosphere.
Yeah.
So everyone, thank you so much for being on the segment with me. And I think it's great sharing your stories about your culinary background, and and the restaurant keeps going stronger.
Thank you, Carol.
Great, you're welcome.
Thank you, Carol.
So everyone, this has been the restaurant interview segment of the Chef's Table series. I'm here at the Midway Restaurant in Dedham, and we'll see you next week for the next week's restaurant interview. Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Farm to Table Tip. I am here with Steve Verrill, and Steve, I love this basket.
We use these for harvesting tomatoes and a lot of other things. And we also use it in our CSA for the customers to come and fill the basket.
What
What
does CSA mean?
Well, quite a lot of farms in the area have CSA. It stands for Community Supported Agriculture.
Oh, okay.
And the concept is the customer will buy their share of product for the season in the spring and pay for it up front, and then come each week and get a box or a basket of
I love the
whatever's
basket.
growing on the farm.
Love it.
And it works very well.
I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I would come here all the time if I lived around here. But I live in the city, even though the city does have their own CSAs. So
Yeah.
you have some very colorful.
Yeah,
Beets,
today we
right?
talk about beets. We have
beets.
quite a few different ones here.
Ooh.
There seems to be a trend with a lot of vegetables now of getting more varieties of things.
Oh wow, Steve.
We just get them out here.
I love the orange ones. Never seen those before. I'm only familiar with the dark color.
Dark red ones.
Yes.
Those are the most common. They've been around a long time. But beets are very versatile, and they're grown in most, especially most cool northern areas.
Okay.
And the way we grow them, we start all of them from seed, except the very first planting. We'll start in the greenhouse and transplant in the little plug trays we have, and that way we can get some 1 or 2 weeks earlier than the ones we direct seeded. But they'll germinate where it's quite cold, so they can be seeded outside, like in early April around here. You
okay.
could put some in.
Now, And I noticed the greens. Do these have any values, the stems and the
Oh,
leafy
I
leaves?
love the greens.
Oh, yeah?
You know, as much or more than the beets. If you're going to cook the beets, you can cut off the beets. Well, if they're this size, you can probably cook it all together, but
Oh, no
separate
way.
them,
Yep.
cook it all together. And if the beets are much bigger, they take a little longer cooking time than you want the greens, so you cut them off. And then the greens are great, either served just cooked like you would spinach, or I like them better almost for lunch the next day out of the refrigerator with some mayonnaise on them.
Mayonnaise?
Yeah, just beet greens and mayonnaise, cold. It's great.
Like with bread?
No,
just like-
beet sandwiches are good.
Oh.
Slice of cold beets and the bread with a little mayonnaise.
And lettuce?
A little piece of
the
lettuce.
greens?
There you go.
Oh, that sounds
Great,
better.
yeah.
Wow, mayo.
Yep. I like a small pot with a little bit of water, and you don't try to cover the beets, but keep a cover on it.
Oh,
And that
okay.
way you
That's a good
keep
idea.
all the flavors and aromas in with the beets. And it also takes less energy because it's a little bit warmer and cooks quicker.
Oh,
Yeah, the cover keeps the water from evaporating, that cools
Right.
it, and you're steaming the top at the same time you're cooking below.
perfect.
But yeah, you could season with most anything. I think maybe dill actually would be another suggestion you could
That's
try.
a good idea.
And another way to use them leftover, cold, sliced up, is an ingredient in a tossed salad. They're very good that way
Oh,
too.
yeah. Love tossed
yeah.
salads.
But these are, of course, you're all familiar probably with a regular red beet.
As
One thing I didn't get into either, if you need to peel them, isn't that pretty?
That's a beautiful color. I would love a dress like that.
Well, then we have a variation on that when we get into these. This is a red and white striped beet.
Oh, it is? Oh.
Whoop.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's like a hot pink.
And these are the yellow ones, the golden beets.
Golden beets.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had those. Oh, that is beautiful.
And they're all very good roasted too. That's
Oh, yeah,
seems
that's
to be a
right.
newer way of cooking them around here the last few years. But either roasting them or boiling them, if you have big ones and the skin you think is getting tough and you want to peel it, wait till after it's cooked.
Steve, there's so many different colors, and I see, if you could show it up
Aren't they
to our
pretty like
viewers.
that?
Yes.
These do fade a little bit when you cook them, so
Okay.
after they're cooked, the stripes are still there, but not quite as bright as they are now.
That's beautiful. Those are very interesting facts you shared with us.
Down to earth, right?
Down to earth. Down to earth. That's what we are here at Farm to Table segment. I love it. Steve, this was great. I can't wait to even to try the beets, to prepare them. I never knew how they were prepared. I just thought the restaurant got it, cleaned it off, chopped it, and put it onto my plate. But there's it's either steamed or it's broiled. That's really
Right, yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
So hopefully you'll take me back to your kitchen and make me some
Okay, we'll
beets.
do that.
So everyone, this has been our Farm to Table segment of the Chef's Table series. I'm Carol O'Connor.
And I'm Steve Verrill of Verrill Farm in Concord on behalf of Chef's Table Foundation.
Block on top of block, and you're building these great flavor profiles. And one thing Chef is doing now, she's cooking the Okay, looks good.
Dating yourself, you know that.
Yes, I am. It's okay. We all know how I am.
Yeah, it's gonna be perfect with that Alfredo sauce and the chicken and the spinach, and just kind of tie the whole dish together, and also leave it open for you to cleanse your palate and get you ready again for another bite too.
Excellent. Now, would you suggest